One. Hey, Jasmine, how's it going? How are
Hey,
you today, Mel?
hey, Jasmine, and anybody listening, Lori, I'm doing great. And here we are back with another episode of Straight Talk with Lori and Mel for everybody listening. Jasmine, good to see you. And hopefully there'll be some others joining chat, but there's probably some out there listening.
Yeah, there's some making dinner right now, so they'll be popping in when they get their hands washed. So, did you check out that new video I put out today?
I did not yet. What one was that?
So, Stax from the Screet team, Don Rilla and them. He thinks he's funny.
Oh, I did see that. I did see that.
Well, he did a video and he tagged me in it the other night. And he was cooking on the grill and he was burning the hot dogs, dropping them. So he was joking with me. Hey, Janie. Hey, Victoria. Hey, Jeffrey. So he was teasing me about, oh, I can outcook Miss Lori on these burned hot dogs. I said, you know what's funny is I showed him, I sent him a picture. I was planning on hot dogs yesterday or the day before too. He says, you need to do them and we'll have a cook off. So I elevated him by frying them and showing a new twist on how to elevate a regular hot dog into a better hot dog.
I did see that. I loved it. And also was like my mouth was watering over that lasagna cheesy garlic bread. Oh my
I
gosh. Oh
appreciate
my
it. Hey, Roland. Hey, Jay Jack. Hey, Brookie. How you guys doing? Hey, Citizen Z. Welcome,
Citizen
welcome.
B, rolling. Let's see. We got Lil Brooke. We got Janie AR. We got J Jack. Let's see. I'm going to try to catch up here. Lil Jeffrey, Jasmine, Victoria, Dustin. Hey, Dustin. If I miss your name, it's not on purpose. Little Jeffrey. Who else? Who else? I think that's about it.
Yeah, they all popped in like right at the same time. So
Everybody
the
came
chat.
at once. Yeah, everybody came at once. We're so glad you're here. Just thank you for
Yes.
coming and hanging out with Lori and Mel for another episode of Straight Talk.
Hey,
And
Jamie.
yeah, please like and subscribe and hit the notification button. And hey, Jamie. And one thing we want to let you know is today you're actually going to get an abbreviated version of Lori and Mel. I know, don't cry. Please, please, this is a once in a while thing that you're only going to get half an episode, but don't go into too deep of mourning, okay? Uh, we promise that we'll be back with a full episode next time. We do love you guys. Sometimes this just happens, but
Yeah,
anyway,
this
we
time my
appreciate you
fault.
being here.
Everybody knows Tim had to go to New Orleans, so I have the full responsibility of the dogs, and they're on a schedule because one's on medicine and they have to eat at a certain time, and I have to feed him at that certain time so that he can take his meds without getting sick. So needs their shots.
Yeah. So anyway, we're just glad you guys are here. And hey, Rachel. Hey,
Hey,
everybody.
Rachel. Hey, Dustin.
So we're just thrilled that you're here. And today's topic, we go off the things that you guys are talking about and the things that you've suggested. And one of the topics that had come up a while ago was just looking a little bit more at how we view ourselves, at self esteem, at self love, and at taking a look at our own egos and at boosting ourselves, and not to the point of being egotistical and going, I'm a bag of chips and all that, but it's important to like ourselves. It's really important to love ourselves because if we don't like who we are and if we don't love who we are, then it's really kind of hard to put ourselves out there in the world and present ourselves to other people and be fully present in other relationships. Little Jamie says, I need to hear this today. Um, probably we all need to hear this at one time or another. And one of the things we're talking about today, this is different than running around going, I'm the greatest, I'm the best, nobody compares to me. We're not talking about being conceited or full of yourself. So there's a difference. I would imagine that most of us in chat, including Lori and myself, everybody's probably known of somebody who was a blowhard, right? Have each of
Yep.
you known of somebody who was like really full of themselves? I know I have. Lori, have you known of somebody who was just like too big for the
Yes.
britches?
Yep. I think we
Yeah.
all, I've done it to myself too. I'll have to admit, I'll take responsibility. Sometimes I've been a little too big for my britches.
Yeah, and I think I have too in my life where I actually, because I was shy. I know this is hard for people to understand me, huh? I actually was shy a lot of my life because my dad, being a command sergeant major in the Army and being 6'5" and being kind of a hard ass, let me retract that, being a lot of a hard ass, um,
Yep.
I I tended to be really, really shy, and it was hard for me to speak up and find my own voice in the world. And then when I did, I think there were times that I kind of thought I was all that and a bag of chips. And I've gone back and forth in life, and there were other times where I kind of went back into my shell. But it really wasn't until, this is going to sound weird. I I think it probably really wasn't until a couple of years ago that I found my worth again and realized that yeah, I'm okay. You know, I let some life events kind of knock me back. Sometimes the breakup of a relationship, or coming out of a job, or health issues. The pandemic kind of did a number on me.
Backstabbing by friends.
Yeah, you know, right before the pandemic started, I came out of a relationship. I had health issues. The pandemic started, and I was kind of like, "Well, who the hell am I?" And I wound up going into counseling. I went into virtual counseling and had to kind of re-decide who the heck is Mel, and it helped me. And because a lot of friends often told me I sold myself short. I put up with crap that I shouldn't have from people. So, hey, Mike Scarhole. Hey, Roadhog. So, there were times that I maybe settled for less in relationships, or that I don't know if anybody else has ever done that, or that I maybe took crap at work that I shouldn't have, just because I thought that was just the way life was supposed to be. And through that counseling and through really looking at myself, I realized, no, you know, I have a voice. I need to use it. And so I hope that through this show, people realize that you've got a voice, you deserve to use it, and it's how we use it that's the difference. I realized I don't have to go around stomping around in big shoes saying, "This is me, look at me, listen to me," but I had a right to say, "I disagree," or "I have a different opinion," or "This is what I believe in." So it's about standing up for yourself. It's about finding your own truth. And I think more than anything, this is going to be the statement that I really had to hold on to, is believing that you are worthy. You are worthy just as much as anybody else in your life.
And something I was just discussing in the chat with somebody else is that your finding your worth doesn't, once you find it, you can find it in your 20s, doesn't mean the worth is still the same at 30 or 40 or 50, because as we change and our life circumstances change, we change with that. So who we were at 20 is not who you are at 40. So you always are reevaluating your own self-worth. And as long as you keep evaluating and hang on to that core, that's what matters, is how you feel about yourself. Hey,
Right.
Joe.
Like little Jamie said, trying to figure out how to know your own worth. And here's the other key. If you feel like people in your life are not valuing you, it's important to step back and say, am I valuing myself? Because if I'm projecting out to the world that I don't value myself, if I'm not taking care of my health, if I'm not taking care of myself physically, mentally, if I'm putting myself down, if I'm doing things to my body and to my mental health that are showing people I don't value myself, then other people aren't going to value me anyway,
Mm.
or either. So that's really, really important.
And in the same topic, it's not your job to make somebody else value themselves. You can't give self worth or self respect to somebody else. And some people will drain you for everything you have to make themselves feel better. If that's that is not your responsibility to do that.
Right. Now you can say things
Encourage them.
that encourage them,
Yep.
but you know, and you look at the other thing, it's very easy for people to say things that tear each other down. Um, I'm sure people have said things to, hey, Artemis, people have said things to folks in chat. I know people have said things to me, and I've probably said things to other people that tore them down.
Yep.
But the other thing is, we have to ask ourselves, when somebody says something like that, just because they said it doesn't make it true.
Yeah.
Where's the proof that the fact that they said something ugly, where's the proof that that's true? So just because somebody says something ugly to you doesn't mean, hey, Roadhog, doesn't mean that it's the truth.
Yeah. And we got to remember, um, it's hard, but if it's not real and it doesn't apply to you, it's just used to engage you, then it's not worth it. Because if you respond, you just lowered your own self respect. And that is something I think we're all guilty, especially on YouTube.
Right, right. Hey, Nightmare. Yeah, lots of times people will throw barbs at you. They'll throw words at you just to see, hey, Jarek. They'll throw things at you just to try to break you down. The old sticks and stones may break my bones, words. People will throw barbs at you just to see if they can knock you down a peg or two.
Yeah.
But hey, Bruce, um, but the reality is, you know, they may say it, but it doesn't make it true. You know, you have to decide, are they saying things just to be ugly? Or you've got to decide, how much credence am I going to give to their words? Just because they're saying it doesn't make it true.
Yeah. And even if you don't engage in anger, but you respond, you have engaged.
Right, right. And that's the other thing, is sometimes we have to say, okay, well, they may have said that to me, they may have been ugly to me, but that doesn't mean that I have to respond to them.
Exactly. But that's the hard part. But that's where we have to, that's that digging deep and remember what our self worth is, because we've all been guilty of letting ourselves throw our self worth and self respect away to engage. And it's a struggle every day. And I'm guilty of it too. So this is not preaching, because I, for one, if I point, I got three pointing right back at me myself. So I've
Don't
got to
we all?
acknowledge that. Hey,
Yeah,
Kata.
don't we all? That's for sure. Hey,
It is
Montauk. Hey,
fun,
Spencers.
John. Sometimes you have to let them know that is fact. But when the little petty stuff is something that doesn't affect us, they can call us names on our appearances. They can call us make up stuff, and just engaging. Now, the vile stuff, I understand, and it is fun, but it becomes a point where, yeah,
Well, and there's something. Hey, Dobsons. I'm trying to acknowledge people as you come into chat, and my apologies if I miss you. Hey, Montauk. There's something else too. I know I used to have a friend that would joke around with me a lot. Um, and there came a point where the joking, I wasn't sure if the joking was joking anymore. I don't know if anybody else has ever had
Yeah.
that situation. The joking started to feel really, really personal, and they started to feel like personal jabs. And the jabs started to feel really, really hurtful. And so finally, at one point, I just had to confront my friend and say, we get together, we have a good time, and we joke around. But lately, the jokes have become kind of hurtful. And it turned out that I don't think she realized that what she was saying was so hurtful. Um, and actually, one of the things she said was she was actually kind of jealous of some circumstances in my life. And she didn't realize that what she was saying had kind of crossed over the line. Um, but you have to have these conversations with people because we can say things to other people or they can say things to us that can knock us down. So part of having good self-esteem, part of having good feelings about ourselves is building up some resilience and also letting people know that if they're saying certain things about us, that it may be hurtful. Victoria pointed out here she had a friend that would only hang out with her when she had money. And then when she couldn't do anything for her or give her money, she would hang out with other people. Ouch. That that doesn't feel very good. Um, Rachel said, exactly. We all know most of the time it's because other people are unhappy. The key to, hey, Kata, the key about self esteem is that very first word. It has to come from inside. It has to be the way that you feel about yourself. It's not about blowing up your ego so big that you walk around with a big head and think that you're all that, but it's about knowing your own value. And I'll tell you again why it's so important. If I don't see myself as worthy, then I'm not going to give my best in relationships and I'm not going to attract the best partners in my life.
Yeah.
And for a while that was happening. If I didn't see myself as worthy, I was not going to attract people in my life, not only as romantic partners, but just even as friends.
Yeah.
You you've got to see yourself as being worthwhile. And I'll tell you another reason that's important. Pretty much most of us in chat have had crap happen to us, right? Some of
Yep.
us have PTSD. Some of us have suffered from depression, anxiety. We've gone through trauma. And I'm going to be the very first one to tell you those things may have affected you, but they don't define you. Do not let those things define you. You are not your trauma. You are not your depression. You are not your anxiety. You are not your PTSD. I'm not saying those things magically go away. I had an incident a couple of weeks ago. I was taking my boyfriend to have a medical procedure, and we got stopped by a train on the way to the place where his medical procedure was happening, and I had a flashback that triggered my PTSD because we were caught between the medical place and by a train. And that was what happened to me when I had a miscarriage. I was caught between the medical place by a train. And I just broke down and started crying in the car. But that doesn't define me. That's a part of me. That doesn't define me. That does not lower my worth. So we have to remember that you are the sum of all your parts. You're the sum of all your experiences, and that doesn't define who you are as a person. If you don't see your worth, other people aren't going to see it either.
And
Roadhog
isn't
says,
it
so if someone tells people that they're happy, but they're trying to ruin the life of someone else, what would you call that person? That's a good question. I'd say that they're trying to undermine that person's life, and you probably need to not be around that person, Roadhog.
they could be happy, but maybe there's something in that other person's life that they're a little jealous of. And they don't know how to express it.
Yeah, little Jeffrey said I had friends like that, but I had to cut them off.
Yeah. Yeah, what's funny is the key words that we're using today apply. It's self-worth, self-love, self-care. It all
Hmm.
starts with the self.
Jasmine said self love. We project who we are onto others. We've got to love ourselves. You change the world with the person in the mirror. My only enemy is my inner me. Jasmine, that is awesome.
Yeah,
And
beautiful.
and that's really what it is. You know, sometimes we say the world, it feels like the world is out to get us, but usually it starts inside with us. Oh
Yeah.
goodness, my avatar is blank again. I'm sorry about that, folks. I don't know why my avatar
I
disappears.
had to change mine. Mine was blank too. But I see you. I see your avatar. Clear as day. That's what makes no sense to me.
I'm sorry, folks. So I might just look like a white blob. I'll have to work on that. I'm on my phone and not my computer. So
That could be it right there because on the computer. Yeah.
yeah, I'll try to work from my laptop next time. I'm so sorry. Yeah, this whole thing about self. When I was actively working as a therapist, I can remember so many patients would say to me and clients would say, "Well, that sounds like being really selfish when you're thinking about yourself." And we had to kind of turn that around and say, "No, it is about putting yourself first, but but not in a selfish way. It's about self-love, and if you don't love yourself, you can't really love anyone else the way you need to. It doesn't mean you're more important than anyone else, but it does mean you're just as important as everyone else. I know there are people who say, oh, I have to put my family first, I have to put my children first, I have to put my animals first. And my prime example every time is, what do they tell you in the frickin' airplane about the air masks? Whose are you supposed to put on first?
Ours.
Yeah. If you don't put your own air mask on first, you can't help anybody else, right? How are you going to help anybody else if you're struggling for air? So sometimes you have to put yourself first in order to help somebody else. It's just like Jasmine said, we project who we are onto other people. We have to love ourselves, and we can't change the world. We can't help the world unless we're willing to help ourselves first. And Jasmine, everything you said and the way you said it was so beautiful. So beautiful. And it may feel weird when you put yourself first. If you're used to putting everybody else first, you might feel a little selfish taking care of yourself first. But you don't take care of yourself first at everybody else's expense. It just means you love yourself enough to take care of your mental and physical health. And sometimes it might mean taking a mental health day. Sometimes it might mean doing something for yourself. That's okay.
Or taking a long bath, closing the door, locking the door, and taking a book in there, or your tablet and watching a favorite. I don't know if it's even a soap opera. You watch it if it gives you guilty pleasure.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, big movie fan. Exactly. Exactly. What are some ways some of you in chat take care of yourselves? What are some ways that you put yourself first? What are some things you do to improve your self esteem?
You know, mine's my hair. I go to the every once in a while. I'll splurge and go to the beauty shop to get my hair done,
Yeah,
or go get
yeah.
my
I know.
nails painted by somebody else.
Yeah, I just recently got my hair done after a very long time of not doing it. And sometimes doing something for our personal appearance will help. Um, what are some other things that people in the chat do that helps them with their self-esteem? It could be physical appearance, it could be something else. What do you do that makes you feel better about yourself? For some people, it might be helping other people. Does anybody in chat volunteer? Jasmine says nature, gym, crystals, trees. Those are all wonderful things. Being in nature, that's an awesome thing. I know we were out in nature a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, and it was a beautiful spring day, and it just reminded me to feel grounded to the earth. Oh, farm, walk with your animals, sit with them long enough, you realize you don't have to speak to show love. Rachel, that's so true, isn't it? Animals teach us a lot. Jamie says, I feel like if I help others, not for me, though, it's for them. That's true. That's true. Hi, HBR. Welcome.
Hey,
Welcome.
HBR.
Listening to music can be very soothing, very grounding. Splurge on fast food and then love to scrap stuff. Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. You know, the whole concept of taking care of yourself is doing what kind of feeds and nurtures your soul. It could be doing something by yourself, it could be doing something with someone you love, it could be doing something with family, but it means putting yourself first for at least a little while. Um, this is a, I'm going to have a little commercial here, but it's not for me and it's not a paid commercial. A friend of mine who's a therapist wrote a best selling workbook that's on Amazon. I don't get any commissions for this. It's called the Self Love Workbook for Women, and it's by a woman named Megan Logan, who's a licensed clinical social worker. Again, it's Self Love Workbook for Women. And um, even though she's my friend and I helped review the book, I bought the book and I went through it myself. And it was an amazing book because as a workbook, it was easy to go through and easy to do the exercises. So I would encourage people to go to Amazon and to get Megan's book, The Self Love Workbook for Women. Again, I don't have a vested interest in it. I don't make any money from it, but it's just a really good way to kind of find yourself and to go back and to remember the things about you that are worth loving. I don't care how bad a person somebody thinks they are. Everybody, everybody is worth loving. You're
Yep.
worth loving yourself.
But you know, you can't love somebody else truly unless you love yourself. That's what I've learned. Because if you can't even love yourself, then you don't even know what that word is truly to be able to give it to somebody else because they have to be able to feel it from you. And if you don't even know how to feel it for yourself, you're not doing yourself or anybody else any good.
Yeah, and I was in a relationship several years ago with somebody who truly had difficulty loving himself. And strangely enough, I'm helping him write his memoir right now. We remained friends, but he had a great deal of difficulty loving himself. He was severely abused as a child, and so his concept of being able to love himself was very warped. And yeah, when we don't love who we are or
Yep.
how we are, you can't give away what you don't have. You know, how can I give you three jelly beans if I don't have any jelly beans? So how can I give you love if I don't have love? And we have to be secure enough in ourselves to give away love, to give away how can I even like people if I don't like myself? And that will start to show, it'll show in people's attitudes, it'll show in people's way that they treat themselves, that they treat their families, that they treat their friends. It'll show in their irritability, it'll show in a lot of ways. And when that veneer starts to crack and their true self comes out, you'll go, ooh, I don't really know I want to spend that time with this person. So, it's important that we spend time in life with people who are capable of giving love, of people who are able to like others because they like and love themselves. But we're not talking about conceit. We're not talking about ego. I think all of us have probably known people with big egos, right? Um, Big egos, and I know we've had military people, we've had people that have been first responders, we've had people that have been prima donnas in whatever occupation they've had. Sometimes we have to be careful of the egos. Yeah, Kata, we're also products of our environment. That's true.
But we have
Um,
to learn how to rise above that because we can't, okay, I had an abusive stepdad. I made sure I never put my hands on my kids because you have to rise above to love yourself. Oh my goodness. We got a special person in the house. That's my sister.
Tabitha?
Yep, that's my sister.
Oh, welcome, Tabitha.
We were kept apart till we were in our 40s and we found each other.
Oh, that's awesome. Well,
I
welcome.
love you too, sis. She's like my best friend now. I mean, I didn't get to grow up with her. We were kept apart by our grandparents and our dad and stuff like that. But yeah,
Welcome.
so
Oh, that's super special having you today.
I know.
Yeah,
I usually don't get to see her because of her job and timing.
and she said always tried to meet other needs because I know what not having needs met feels like. Yeah.
She does. Yep.
Kata says try to surround yourself with like-minded people and practice empathy. So now there's a key word, empathy. Um, and I hope people know the difference between empathy and sympathy. Hey, Ricky Bobby. Empathy is really important, and not everybody can relate to empathy. Sympathy is when we feel for somebody. Empathy is when we feel with somebody, when you can kind of put yourself in somebody else's shoes. I happen to be an empath. When I walk into a room, I can kind of feel a lot of what everybody else in the room is feeling, and it can be overwhelming. Um, it's part of what made me a good counselor, but it also kind of led to burnout. Not everybody
Yep.
has empathy, not everybody has the ability to be compassionate. But if you know yourself and you know what your limits are, you have to set some boundaries with that. Um, I'm still just like in awe that Tabitha's here. I think that's so wonderful.
I know.
That's so
And because
awesome.
of everything going on in our lives, we don't get to talk much like we used to. So we try. We haven't even got to see each other so far this year. We usually get to see each other like at least twice a year because we're so far apart. But
Yeah. And
I'm working on it.
Rachel says she's an empath too, that she knows what that is and it can be rough some days.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, that kind of that I felt sorry for myself because I had no shoes till I met a man that had no feet. Yeah, absolutely. We we appreciate the circumstances we're in, and we feel things deeply, and then we realize that it could be so much worse. It could be so much worse. This whole concept of self-esteem and building ourselves up and feeling worthy, it's important for a lot of reasons that some people may not even realize. Your physical health and your mental health are strongly tied together, and one can affect the other. If your physical health isn't good, it can affect your mental health and your self-esteem and how you feel about yourself. And if your mental health and your self esteem are suffering, it can affect your physical health. So that's why it's important to have a good outlook about yourself. Yeah, Amanda, that's true. Being an empath is extremely exhausting.
Hey, Amanda.
There are days when I've been so inundated by feelings of people around me that it used to be I'd think, why am I so tired? It's because I had just been feeling too much. But the whole concept of taking care of yourself as a person and looking out for yourself actually is an investment in your mental health and in your physical health. So it's more than just feeling good about yourself. It's about taking care of yourself all the way around. And uh, and I hope people will understand this is more than just feeding your ego. It's there used to be a skit I think on Saturday Night Live where the guy would look at himself and say, look in the mirror and look at himself and say, I love you and you're a good person. And it was a funny skit, but there are days sometimes we need to do that. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, hey, I made it another day. I woke up. Somebody didn't wake up today who wanted to. I did. And what am I going to do with today? Maybe I'm not the best version of myself, but I have a chance to make today a good day.
Yep.
And so we just need to do the best we can with what we've got and not put ourselves down. If you can't build yourself up, here's my challenge to you. And Roadhog, that's really sweet. It says everyone on here helps me feel good about my.
Yep. That's why I said what I did too. Oh,
Oh, I
you
think I got
there?
I think I got booted off. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, I think I got booted off. Sorry about that, folks.
I was sitting here and you were in the middle of something. I thought maybe she just needed to take a breath for a minute, guys. So, and then I hear this boop, and then I see a double mill, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, what I was going to say is if you're having trouble building yourself up, one of the things I would challenge you to do is at least don't put yourself down. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but if you're having trouble with the, telling yourself you're a good person or building yourself up, then my challenge to you would be at least don't put yourself down. At least stop with the negative put downs, the I'm fat, I'm worthless, I'll never amount to anything, nobody will love me. What are some of the other negatives we've told ourselves? Yeah, Tim says if I'm above ground, it's a good day. That's right.
That is.
I'm able to see the daisies. I'm not pushing them up. What are some other things that we could say that would be positives instead of putting negative put downs? What would be some good affirmations for the day? Let's come up with some good things we could say to ourselves.
I deserve love.
I deserve love.
Yep.
The plant grows that we water. That's right, Mikes. Your subconscious does pay attention to the words you say. You're right. And so if you speak good things in, you're going to get good things out. That's right. If you are saying negative things, you're going to have negative thoughts and you're going to wind up with negative behaviors. So don't put yourself down. I know people that have actually written positive things on sticky notes and put them on their mirrors, put them on their steering wheel, put them on their refrigerator, put them wherever they'd see them. Yes, little Jamie, I am worthy. I love it, Rachel. Other people's emotions don't control me. Victoria, I deserve to be wanted. What are some other ones? Keep them coming. What are some other positive ones? My Reiki master gave me this click counter. He told me to press it every time I judge myself or someone else. Oh, I love that, Jasmine. We deserve respect and love. Yes, Roadhog.
Yes,
Take care
we
of
do.
yourself, love yourself, empower yourself, but stay humble and remember everyone's issues are important no matter how small or big. Yes. What are
Think about
some
how
other?
many times we do judge ourselves over the littlest things. How many people actually, and how about you, Mel? We do something and then we kick ourselves for what we did.
Oh, every day, every day. And really the topic today is important to me because sometimes I will get into one of these Debbie Downer things of thinking like, oh, I'm not doing anything right. But then I see like Jasmine saying, I am enough. That is
Yep,
such an important statement. Tabitha, boundaries are healthy. Yes, little Jamie, you're so right. We just judge ourselves so much, but look at these wonderful statements we could put on post-its, we could put in our phones. I am enough. I am worthy. What are some other ones we could say, folks? Keep them coming. I love these. What are some positive affirmations? I'm good enough. I'm enough. I'm worth loving. I am lovable. I deserve
I'm
respect and love.
beautiful.
I am beautiful. I'm a
And
good
it could be
person.
inside or out as long as you do.
That's right. I'm beautiful inside and out. I'm lovable. What are some more? Mike Scarhole might say, I am moist. I don't know.
Yeah, he is. He needs to put some baby powder in that car hole of his.
Yeah.
Uh,
What are some other great and look at how easy these are. They're only a few words. I am
but they're
lovable.
hard to live by. They are
I
definitely
know.
hard.
My car hole is enough. There you go. There you go. I am not going to worry today. I love that, Kata. I love that. I am not going to worry today. If you believe in a higher power, whatever that is, you could say, I'm going to turn over my worries to my higher power. I'm going to be thankful today. What are some other ones? Keep them coming. You're on a good roll. You're giving me goosebumps, people. Oh, I love it, Rachel. I am here for a reason. I didn't make it through everything for nothing. Oh, I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Most days it's hard, but I push myself. You know what? Oh, don't dwell on what you can't change. I love that, Amanda. You guys are like coming up with some awesome ones. Hey, Mama, give it to God. All right. Keep coming up with more. I think I've maybe shared with this group before that I am a breast cancer survivor. And instead of um, calling myself a survivor, I call other survivors and myself thrivers. So we didn't survive, we thrive. So,
Oh, I like that.
no matter what
Hey,
you've
Mama
been through in
Payday.
life, instead of calling yourself a survivor, doesn't matter what you've been through, if it was abuse or anything else, you can say, I am a thriver. So let's see, you ever heard the poem called My Deepest Fear from the film Coach Carter? No, no, Jasmine, we'll have to look at that. And Rachel says, I started praying every morning before I get out of bed. Helps you so much. I like that. Prayer, self meditation before you get out of bed. Oh, and here's something big that I want everybody to think about. So listen for just a second and think about this. You have survived 100% of everything you've been through. Think about that. You have survived 100% of everything you have been through. How cool is that? And you think about all those things you never thought you'd get through, you've survived them. Little Jamie, I like that. I am the best version of myself. I am grateful for everything I am. I am a good person. Oh, you guys are rocking this.
Yes, they
Lord,
are.
look at these statements.
I
Woo!
know they're amazing. And these are they also have their doubts. So that's like Jamie, and she's beautiful. She's gone through a lot, but every day she still gets on here and she doesn't let people that hate her put her down. So I don't know why she thinks she has such a struggle because she's killing it. She's doing it.
My,
Everyone.
the question, Mama, was what are some positive statements that people can tell themselves every day? And yes, Kata, you are an awesome caregiver. I love that, Jamie. I am strong. Yes, keep breathing. All of you are thrivers. And little Jamie, you know, we do. We all struggle. Whether our struggles are big or little, we all struggle, but everybody in here has survived 100% of everything you've been through. And if you think back, there were probably huge hurdles that you never thought you would get through. They might have been physical, they might have been mental, they might have been emotional. I know that there have been things in my life that I thought I would never survive. And yet here I am. Oh, I love these. I am worth it. I am courageous. I am
Well, that's
abundant.
a
Oh,
good one.
God,
Yeah.
look at them. Woo! If you, I hope you guys will go back and listen to the playback and go through the chat transcript and write these down because you are rocking it. You are rocking it. I am fearless. Oh my gosh.
She does have a strong support over there with you, Mama Payday. That is for sure. See, a lot of these are coming from new communities that we've all started getting to know each other.
Well, there's another thing. That's another way we build self esteem. We align ourselves and we surround ourselves with good people. And good people give us the support and give us the space to allow us to be who we are. We don't have to change who we are. If we feel that we have to change who we are, that's not a good sign. If I get to be who I am with my tribe, with my friends, with my boyfriend, with whomever, if I get to be who I am and I'm accepted, that's a wonderful thing. If you have to change who you are to be accepted, that's not a good thing. So
No,
it sounds like when you've got a good support system, they love you for who you are. And
that's fact.
support systems are are phenomenal. I am fortunate to have a wonderful support system who loves me for all my flaws. And if there are people who cannot tolerate my flaws, then I don't need them. I have friends that I've had for 10, 15, 20, 25 years. They know me warts and all, and likewise, and we love each other no matter what. Look
And
at this group. Oh my gosh.
deepest fears is everything we're talking about. It's about letting your own light shine so other lights can shine too. But see, and Jasmine, you got to remember this, okay? If you're trying to shine your light, but there's somebody next to you that thinks it tries to put on a spotlight to overshine yours so the attention goes off of you and stays on them, that's the wrong person.
Yeah. The people that allow you to shine your light and they can shine theirs too, those are your people. You know, people who don't want your light to go out. They want you to keep shining your light. I like that, Roadhog. You changed yourself for you and nobody else. If they don't like you for you, just stay away. That's right. You know, when we change ourselves, it's for our own good. If somebody else benefits, great, but we don't change for other people. We
Yep.
don't change for other people. We change because we need to change. And we, like Mike said, we need to surround ourselves with people who challenge and encourage us to grow every day. One of the reasons or one of the things that I look for when I'm in a relationship is, does that person allow me to be the best version of me? They're not changing me to be somebody else. They're allowing me to grow to be the best version of me. So that's exactly it. Can I still look in the mirror every day and like who I am? Was it Michael Jackson? I think had a song that said something about, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. That's where change starts, and that's how the world gets better. We surround ourselves with people that challenge us and encourage us to grow. If you're in a relationship and that person is not supporting your growth, hey, Mrs. Powerstroke, if they're not supporting you to grow and be the best version of you, then that's not a good thing.
Hey, Miss Power Stroke, how you doing?
Yeah, and Mama, that's a great point. We're constantly evolving. We're constantly trying to find the best version of ourselves, and I think the day we stop is the day we die. So n- never stop trying to grow.
I have something that somebody sent me to read. Give me a minute. These dogs. Somebody always has.
Yeah, never stop trying to grow.
All right, you ready? Okay, sis. Love you. And I will talk. Yes. Well, I'm glad that you liked it, sis. All right, so quit trying to figure out their reasons for their actions. Instead, focus on your actions you take to make sure you are not hurting those around you because of someone else's actions you never understood to begin with.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Well, Tabitha, we're so glad you joined us. Hey, Loki. Hey, Dobsons.
Hey, Loki. That's Dobson and Maria. They've got a comedy channel. Sometimes they've got it's a little explicit, but it's for the grown-ups. It's supposed to be about grown-ups.
Yeah, and Mike's Carhole has a good point. Sometimes we can't see what needs to change, so it's good that we've got that tribe. We've got those people around us that can motivate us to be the best version of ourselves. They can point things out in a loving way that say, hey, what about, and they're not beating us down, but they're showing us some things that might be opportunities for change. So yeah, and if you find that you're surrounded by idiots and you realize it one day, then you change who you hang around with.
Loki, that was my sister. Just from school. So
The main thing here, I think, is that we are always evolving, we're always growing. I think it's to be open to change, to and that's awesome, Rachel, that your husband allowed you to be yourself and loving you for who you are. I think sometimes other people love us for who we are and we don't love ourselves for who we are. Um, I think being open to change is hard. I don't know about you guys, but change is hard. Um, but the more we're open to change, the more we allow ourselves to change, I think actually the more we can be happy. People are often really afraid of change. I know I have been. I've been very resistant to change much of my life. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized change can actually be fun and it can be a good thing. And I was missing out on a lot because I was so resistant to it. So, being open to change is something that you never know what you might experience, and it could be some really good things. Hey, baby bird, it's you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Being open to new things, and I'll say this much too. Who do you want to be in charge of your destiny? You or somebody else? You get to reinvent you. Yeah, change is scary. I get that, little Jamie. But I'd much rather be the one in charge of me changing me than somebody else trying to change me. And Kata says, I take the time to listen. Jasmine says, straight talk 100%. So today we're going to be winding up early, but I hope you guys have heard some things that maybe resonated with you about self-love,
Self-respect.
self-respect, self-worth. Mike Scarhole says, I know I'm a narcissist, and knowing that, I reflect on things I've said and done and try to improve in the future. Mike, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, the fact
No.
that, in fact, if you were a true 100% narcissist, you wouldn't be reflecting on things and trying to improve. So that says a
And
lot about you.
and you know what, Mel? Every time one of us gets up here on a panel, we all are a little narcissistic because we enjoy the attention. We all do.
Sure.
And not like attention to be like, oh, look at me, I'm better than ever. It's the attention that we get from the people that we're meeting and connecting with those people. It's that connection. So everybody on YouTube or platforms is a little narcissistic. So let's just be real for all of us.
Absolutely. And I think the fact that we enjoy imparting some knowledge, we enjoy interacting, we enjoy a little bit of the spotlight, we enjoy this time together. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And Rachel, I love that your husband let you make mistakes, didn't judge you, let you be yourself, and gave you the opportunity to grow after you had had such a hard time. But you know, what a wonderful outcome that he's allowed you to learn how to love yourself. I think that's fabulous. So, you know, I just want to thank everybody for being here with us. Normally we're with you from 4:30 to 6:30 Central, 5:30 to 7:30 Eastern. We're doing an abbreviated show today, but you guys have given me goosebumps with all of the I love myself, I'm worthy, I deserve love, I'm powerful. I hope that you will hold on to this. And oh my gosh, I'm just so excited with the things that you came up with. And I
Yes,
hope that straight talk resonates with you. When Lori and I came up with the concept of the show, and she and I were kind of bouncing off with each other on her late night show, and when she approached me about doing this, we were like, you know, what could we do? And the fact that, you know, we've both been in relationships, and I'm a retired counselor, and what were some topics we could do? And
we
so
both have
you all have,
college degrees and real
yeah,
world, and we're older.
and we're
So
older.
yep,
And so each week, the topics that we bring you are really topics that you guys have suggested to us. So we hope it's of value to you. And the thing that makes it the most valuable is all of you.
yep. So as a hint, we're going to let you have a little sneak peek about what in 2 weeks, because we go live every other Wednesday, because we both have full schedules. But and Tim is in New Orleans, so that's why I say we have to end early tonight, because I do have dog responsibilities. But next week, should I tell him or leave it as a surprise?
Well, 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now. It's going to sound a little, you just have to trust us, but it's going to be on healthy sexual appetites and urges, non sexual urges, and what can affect your sex drive or boost it, which all still comes back to self respect, self worth, self love.
And we're going to be appropriate about it. We don't want people to
Yep.
be put off about it. We're all adults. Keep in mind that this is straight talk.
Yep.
Um, but we understand it may not be for some people, but again, I'm a retired mental health counselor, and I've dealt in in this space. And if for some reason it's not for you, we respect that. But, we're just going off of different topics that people have suggested. And we hope you'll join us in 2 weeks. That will be Wednesday, the 17th
I think so.
at,
But you'll always, it'll be posted in the community tab. Every Monday, I post the week schedule for what's going on that week around the neighborhood in the community.
yeah. So we hope you'll join us. And thank you guys so much for joining Straight Talk with Lori and Mel today. And as we say, it's always real people, real talk, no drama. And we just appreciate the heck out of you. And thank you for making today's show so great. We love you guys.
Yep, and we appreciate it for your understanding to know that it was a short hour instead of the 2 hours, but we will be back in 2 weeks and give you the full show. If I can keep Tim from being doing a job. All right, guys, much love and peace and respect. Have a great night. Late night tonight goes on at 10:30 on my channel. We're going to finish up that 2000 music list that we had from last week, and with some laughs to go with it. So see you then.